All right, today we're diving into one of the most fascinating and, let's be honest, controversial books out there, Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction. And what you're going to see is that this isn't just about romance, not even close. Its principles go way, way beyond that. And this quote really sets the stage for the whole book. For Greene, seduction isn't about being pushy or forceful. It's the complete opposite. It's a subtle psychological art. It's about influence, about creating this irresistible pull that can be applied to pretty much any area of your life. So the first thing you have to do is kind of forget what you think seduction is. According to Greene, this is a slow, indirect game. It's not about big, flashy, obvious moves. No. It's all about targeting emotions, building up mystery, and carefully leading someone to a place where they feel like they're the one making all the choices. It's a psychological surrender. So you want to see how this playbook actually works? Okay, in the next 5 minutes or so, we're going to unpack the whole thing. We'll look at the different seductive archetypes you can be, how to pick the right target, and then the actual step-by-step process that ties it all together. Okay, first things first, Greene says you have to figure out your own natural seductive style. He gives us all these different archetypes because, and this is key, trying to be someone you're not is apparently the fastest way to completely fail. The whole point is to find what's already inside you and just amplify it. So let's kick things off with a real classic, the Siren. Now, the Siren is the ultimate fantasy figure. This archetype works on a super visual, almost dreamlike level. And it's not just about physical beauty, not at all. It's about creating this aura of pleasure and escape. They promise a break from the boring, everyday grind, a release from responsibility, which Greene believes is something almost everyone secretly craves. And then you've got the total opposite end of the spectrum, the Rake. If the Siren offers a gentle escape, the Rake is all about raw, intense, and even slightly dangerous desire. The Rake's secret weapon, their absolute, shameless devotion to their target. They make you feel like you are the only person in the world that matters. And that intensity, it's thrilling. Why? Because it feels so unrestrained, so untamed. There's a little bit of danger there, and that's the whole appeal. And this is a great way to see just how different the approaches can be. You've got the Rake, who brings this wild, thrilling passion that makes you feel intensely desired. But then you have the ideal lover, who is all about patience and empathy. They make you feel deeply understood. See? Totally different tactics, but they're both aiming for the exact same result. But, picking your archetype, that's really just the first piece of the puzzle. Greene is adamant that the single most critical part of this whole game is understanding the other person. It's about shifting your focus completely onto them. So the core idea here is pretty simple. Successful seduction fills a void. Your job is to become a detective and figure out what your target is missing in their life. Are they bored and secretly wishing for an adventure? That's the escapist. Do they miss the way things used to be? That's the nostalgic. Whatever it is, your goal is to become the living, breathing answer to that need. All right, so you've got your archetype and you've figured out what your target is missing. What's next? Well, now we get to the process itself. Greene lays out this whole thing in 4 very clear phases. Think of it like a strategic roadmap. It all kicks off with step 1, awakening desire. This is just about getting their attention, making them think about you. From there, you move to step 2, lead them astray, which is all about pulling them away from their everyday reality. Then you get to phase 3. The trap is set. This is where things get serious and you deepen that emotional connection. And it all leads up to step 4, the final move. Each step logically flows into the next. Just to give you a taste of the kinds of strategies he talks about, here's a classic from phase 1. Create a triangle. The idea is if you can make it look like other people want you, you instantly become more desirable. It's basic human psychology, right? We're wired to want what other people want. It's like manufactured competition, and it immediately boosts your value in their eyes. Now, as you get deeper into the process, the tactics get more intense. Take this one. Isolate your target. This can be physical or emotional, but the goal is to gently remove them from their friends, their family, their normal routines. Why? Because in that new, unfamiliar space, your influence becomes way more powerful. It's a really high-stakes play, for sure, but it's designed to make them rely on you more. Okay, but knowing all the things you should do is only half the battle. Just as important, maybe even more important, is knowing what to avoid. Greene spends a ton of time on what he calls the anti-seducer. Basically, the kind of person whose habits just naturally push people away and destroy any hint of attraction. So, for example, a seducer builds mystery. They listen way more than they talk. But the anti-seducer, specifically the chatterbox, they do the exact opposite. They just talk and talk and talk. They tell you their whole life story in the first 5 minutes, leaving absolutely nothing to the imagination. All the intrigue is just gone. Remember how we said this is a slow, patient game? Well, that's where the brute gets it all wrong. They are pushy, impatient, and way too forceful. They try to rush everything, they don't respect boundaries, and they have zero subtlety. That kind of aggressive vibe is the absolute polar opposite of seductive charm. And this might be the single biggest takeaway from the entire book. A real seducer's focus is always on the other person. It's all about them. The anti-seducer, the vain one, is the complete opposite. They're totally self-absorbed. Every single conversation becomes about them, about how great they are. They're just constantly looking for validation, and it makes the person they're with feel completely invisible. So, after all that, we're left with a really big question, aren't we? What Greene has laid out is, without a doubt, a powerful system for understanding human desire and influence. But where do you draw the line? Is this whole thing just a dark, cynical blueprint for manipulation? Or could you actually use these tools to build deeper, more genuine connections? That's the big question, and that's what I'll leave you to think about.